Hey, Fiber Doc back here with you. Today, springtime in the Rockies. It's March and we're starting to get some good weather. So good weather means getting that RV ready for use this summer. I know a lot of people are heading out over spring break for the next couple weeks. So what you need to do is make sure you have the essentials in your RV or your fiber and you're ready to go. If you got a new one like we do, if you remember from the last video, me and Mrs. Fiber Doc bought the fiber last fall, and we took her out for a one-nighter, and it was a little chilly, but me and Mrs. Fiber got through it. And now we're making sure that for the long summer that we have all the essentials that we need. First up, if you got a new RV, travel trailer, pop-up, fiber, first thing you need to make sure you have is a water hose, a dedicated water hose. They're usually white. You can buy them at any big box retailer or RV store or online. They are essential. Only potable water, water that you can drink, nothing else. You don't want to have Montezuma's Revenge coming back at you if you're swapping water around. There's a lot of microbes, there's a lot of bacteria you can get. Make sure your hose is only for potable water. Next up, water filter. There's a couple ways you can go about doing this. You can hook a filter up to the hose before it comes into the system. If I got a brand new RV, I would certainly suggest that. That way no bad water could get into the system from the get-go. But since ours is a used fiber, Mrs. Fiber Doc thought it would be best just to have a pitcher, which she likes to use at home too, and we put our water in there and it filters out anything that we drink, and it seems to work for us. She has more control over it. So Mrs. Fiber Doc likes the pitcher. Next, most important, not most important, but very important, an extension cord for plugging in your 30 amp or 50 amp charge. Now, I like to have one as long as possible, okay? I don't like to be restricted in my movement on campsites. So if I have the ability to move around in some places, I want to make sure I can put the camper where I want. Because, as you know, my Saturday morning coffee is important. Love that Saturday morning coffee. So getting an extension cord that is the right length for you is good. Longer the better, but get what you can afford. Next, most important, fire extinguisher. Station Safety Board says there was 6,000 RV fires last year. You need to make sure you have at least one of these on there. Mrs. Fiber Doc likes to have two of them, one in the front, one in the back. Make sure that we're able to put out a fire wherever it may start. So keep fire extinguisher on board, two if you can. Always be handy. Next, toolkit. I carry my drill and drill bits, some sockets, hammers, some glue, some leveling compound in case I get a leak while I'm on the road. You do not want to be camping and then have to turn around because there's an issue with your fiber, and Mrs. Fiber Doc get a little pissed if she has to come back home. So be able to make those minor repairs, and don't be afraid to make minor repairs because it's your equipment. Okay, you want to make sure you're out there having fun all the time, and make sure that you can fix anything that needs to be fixed. So those are what I consider my essentials. Mrs. Fiber Doc has hers. Now, for Mrs. Fiber Doc, one big thing for her is ice. And she wants to have fresh ice. So I found this little unit online over the winter. It's a portable ice maker. Didn't know they made such a thing. Now I do. So she can have ice for her cocktails, which she likes to have. There's a little ice water. Makes several different sizes. But also, for me, I can have ice in my cooler so I can keep my beer cold. So, remember, if you're on the path, you're going somewhere. Thanks for watching this episode of the Fiber Doc. Make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'd love to have you follow us along on this journey. Remember, if you're on the path, you're going somewhere.